Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine and today I will be your guide through the Tarot of Oppositions. So the Tarot of Oppositions is a Lo Scarabeo deck. It was originally printed in 2021. The author is Pierluca Zizzi and he is a game designer. He's designed over 25 different board games and card games as well. He actually got his start as an architect before he went into card games and board games. He's also designed the Wanderer's Tarot, which I have done in a separate video. The Folk Cards of Destiny and Dream Interpretation cards, all for Lo Scarabeo. The illustrator is Michele D'Aloisio, and she's a freelance artist, also from Italy. Pierluca Zizzi is from Turin, Italy. She specializes in working with painting and engraving. She also teaches art courses and is a designer of book covers and other graphic novels. And I will put a link to her work in the description box below. So what we've got here, let's go ahead and switch cameras, is a 78 card Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's in a very nice, sturdy little card deck box here. So the deck, first off, it has a couple of, as I've said in other videos before, a 78 card deck is actually going to have room on a print run for 80 cards. So you've got a nice little title card. Nothing in particular about that. You also get an advertisement for another Lo Scarabeo deck, but they don't tell you what deck this is. This is actually the Front's Pinter deck. So this is the strength card from it. So if you find that very compelling, which they must because they put us in a lot of other decks, I have a review on the Front's Pinter deck. Okay, so you also get a nifty Beyond the Little White Book. It's 128 pages. However, those 128 pages are divided between English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian. So if you're interested in parallel text, that's always a very interesting read if you're a multilingual person. You get about 50 pages of English. You get a little definition for each card, and you also get some really interesting spreads to go with it. So very nice. It's compact, but complete. So what's interesting about these cards is each one has a positive and negative definition. And what you get from the cards is each one of the cards has a positive and negative image. So I'm going to be flipping through these cards. I'm going to have the positive images on top for all cards. So even if it's a card like the Three of Swords, the upside of the Three of Swords is going to be visually on top. So of course, doing reversals is highly encouraged for this deck. It's got 22 major arcana, Fool Through World, very Rider-Waite-Smith. You have 4 suits. You've got wands. We'll go through this a little slower here in a minute. Your court cards are page, knight, queen, and king. And here are your cups. Swords. Page, knight, queen, king. And then the pentacles. Page, knight, queen, king. It's a fairly sturdy cardstock, not too thick, not too thin, shuffles pretty nicely, so I've got a hand at that. So let's take this a little slower and we'll go through card by card. Okay, so getting up close and personal with the cards here, we'll begin with the Major Arcana and the Fool. Notice we've got positive, negative. The Magician. High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor. The Hierophant. Lovers. The Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel, the Hanged Man. Closely, he's falling on one on the negative side, and he's hanging peacefully on the positive. Justice, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. Next, we'll move to the Suit of Wands. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and the King. Next, we'll move to Cups, beginning with the Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and the King. Following this up with some swords. Beginning with the Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and the King. Lastly, we will go to Pentacles. Beginning with the Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and the King. Well, I hope you enjoyed our journey through the Tarot of Oppositions. Roses and thorns for this deck. I don't have any thorns. I do have some roses here. What's super interesting about the way that it's presented with the positive and negative visually represented on each card is some of the spreads in the book kind of recommend a dialogue between the positive and negative aspects of the card. And I think that's true for all tarot, really. But having this representation, I think, encourages that, especially if you're reading for somebody else and somebody who may not be super familiar with tarot. You can kind of go into the nuances of the positive and the negative and how things interact and counteract with one another. So adds a really nice depth to a tarot reading to have that available. The definitions in the book are fairly standard, but he does have some nice nuance that he's added to the definition. And like I said, it's a small-ish book, so the definitions are very succinct, but they're impactful. So nicely done on the part of Lo Scarabeo putting all of this together. I think it was really, really well done. And I think it does add to a tarot reading to have this. So if perhaps you have maybe one or two decks, this would be a really great second or third deck to have to back up your Rider-Waite-Smith or your particular favorite deck. It would come in handy, I think. Overall, very nicely done. We'll see how the glossy cardstock handles over time. I've had this for a few months now, and I've thrown some really insightful readings from it, and I've enjoyed using it. So you can take that for whatever it may be worth to you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. I am going to follow this up with a reading using these cards and one of the spreads that Pierluca Zizzi includes in his book in the deck. So if you want to see how the cards work and how they may work for you, please join me for that video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.